2022. Mr. Lau, the roll, please.
Ms. Jennifer?
Here.
Dr. Broska?
Here.
Mr. Curry will not be here tonight. Mr. Steigel?
Here.
Mr. Kozer?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Ross?
Here.
All rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Special reports. There are none. Audience comments. Opportunity for anybody in the audience to speak on a non-agenda item for up to 5 minutes. Anybody? Okay. Unfinished business, there's nothing. New business, first item is proclamation commemorating National Library Week. I don't know if you have any comment before.
Yes, I just want to point out that National Library Week is April 3rd through 9th. The Library Board has asked us to commemorate that with a proclamation, and probably there is no better theme for National Library Week as far as Peters Township is concerned than connect with your library, because if any community is connected with its library, it's Peters Township. So.
Okay, so the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the Peters Township Public Library serves as a vital educational resource to the community and was recognized by PA Forward as the first Gold Star Library in Western Pennsylvania. And whereas the library has enabled residents, regardless of race, creed, sex, age, national origin, or socioeconomic status, to make educated decisions by promoting unrestricted access to information. And whereas the library offers residents the ability to utilize technology, attend programs, and access services, often for free or with nominal charges. And whereas the library is staffed by information professionals who thoughtfully develop collections and programs that are wide-ranging, exploring the nature of our changing world. And whereas the PA Forward Literacy is Power initiative highlights how libraries and their staff encourage literacy in basic information, civic and social, health, and financial, which contributes to greater personal and community success. And whereas America is celebrating National Library Week, including April 5th as National Library Workers' Day, recognizing the contributions of library workers, and April 7th as Take Action for Libraries Day, encouraging community support for libraries. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Peters Township Council does hereby proclaim the week of April 3rd through 9th, 2022 as National Library Week in Peters Township, and further welcomes all residents to participate in library-sponsored events and explore the library's offerings. So, Lacey, if you'd like to come up and receive the proclamation. And I guess you could probably stay.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lacey can stay.
The second item, which is a request to reduce the hours of operation at the Peters Township Library.
Do we need a motion authorizing April 3rd to the 20th?
Yes, we do.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I will move that council authorize the proclamation declaring April 3rd through 9th, 2022 as National Library Week in Peters Township.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries. Now we'll get to the request for reduced operation hours at the library.
Sure. So for the past 6 months, since the library went back to full hours post-pandemic, we've just been collecting hourly data at a request from the staff. Just anecdotally, they had seen a couple dead spots throughout the week that didn't really seem to make a lot of sense to staff with 4 people. So since then, we've been doing hourly door counts, hourly counts for the public computers, the study rooms, and based on that data, we'd like to take 1 hour off of the evenings, Monday through Thursday, to close at 8 p.m. instead of 9 p.m., and then to eliminate Sundays year-round, which right now we're only open Sundays part of the year and only from noon to 4. So
The only question I had was, what about Friday afternoons? I would think that Friday evenings would probably be slow as well. Is that?
So Friday, we were already open 9 to 4.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, and Fridays and Saturdays are 2 of our busiest days, and it's very steady across the whole day.
Well, I went there yesterday in the afternoon just because I was curious, and there was literally nobody there at 2 o'clock yesterday. So I'll make a motion that council authorize the proposed hours of the operation for the Peters Township Library to be changed to Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Fridays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., closed on Sundays.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any other discussion?
Well, the one question I have is, right now, we just went through the time change, and while I can appreciate the fact that 9 o'clock in the middle of the winter is one thing, but 9 o'clock
So
in the daylight.
For years, it's been, I mean, obviously I haven't been here the whole time, but I've talked to staff about it, and for years, that evening has always been a problem. I actually was initially going to propose 7 p.m., but we do a lot of programs between 7 and 8 p.m., like in-person programs, so logistically that wouldn't work out. But, I mean, for years it's been an issue, so I don't think the time change has a lot to do with
I've
it.
never been an advocate for the Sunday, so there's no problem with that in my mind.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Item C, appointment of the Traffic Impact Fee Advisory Committee member.
Move we appoint Ryan Schweitzer to the Traffic Committee.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion?
Just want to say there was a lot of applicants. He is a worthy candidate, though.
I thought we only had one.
I know, I was trying to be some humor here.
She's still a good candidate
Absolutely.
regardless. But anyway, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7-0. Item D, resolution authorizing the appropriate township official to execute a temporary easement to facilitate construction of a roundabout at the intersection of Valley Brook and Bebout Roads.
So these next three items are all related to the construction of the roundabout, and they have to do with authorizing township officials to be able to execute a temporary easement, an agreement of sale, and finally, actually, the deed itself. So we had spoke about this previously. To be able to construct this, there's going to be a need for a temporary easement. What that temporary easement, for the most part, is the ability to stage equipment on the existing parking lot that is at the intersection of Valley Brook and Bebout Road. And then those yellow highlighted areas are slices of right-of-way that they need to be able to construct the roundabout. None of this will impact the Arrowhead Trail, and you can't move ahead with the project without them. So it's my recommendation that council pass resolution 301, 302, and 303.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries 7-0. Item E, resolution authorizing appropriate township official to execute an agreement of sale related to the transfer of township-owned property to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to facilitate.
Those three are all done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you covered all three. Okay, I'm sorry.
Move on to G.
Okay, G is request for departure from regulations contained in the Peters Township Code of Ordinances, Section 385, Subdivision of Land Development, Article 6, Design Standards, Subsection 37I, Streets, cul-de-sac, and temporary dead-end streets.
I'm going to let Ed take this.
Crehan Fife Holdings LLC currently own this 13-acre property here. It has an existing farmhouse on it. They're seeking township approval of a modification from our subdivision and land development regulations, which limits a permanent cul-de-sac to 600 feet. The current Fife Farm Lane cul-de-sac is about 380 feet, and it's designated as a temporary cul-de-sac. Crehan Fife Holdings LLC would like to extend that cul-de-sac approximately 521 feet into a permanent cul-de-sac of 901 feet. The purpose of the extension would be to create some estate-sized lots. It's rare that you see planning staff, planning commission, management, promoting a dead-end 901-foot cul-de-sac. We like to interconnect our streets, but in this case, there's nowhere for this road to go. It can't go to the right. That's the Country Brook neighborhood. And to wrap it around and get back to Thompsonville Road, you'd have to take out a house along Thompsonville Road. We even looked at taking it up to East McMurray, but topographically it doesn't work. It's too steep. So this is a rare instance where we have a situation where a cul-de-sac has to exceed our maximum 600-foot length. The first step here is to see if Township Council is willing to grant that modification. If you are, then they'll come back through the subdivision land development approval process through both Planning Commission and Council with a full engineered plan. But before spending the money on the engineering and all the plans that need to be submitted along with the subdivision, they are seeking that modification to take that cul-de-sac to 901 feet above our 600-foot max rule.
Ed, has the fire department reviewed this, the police department, they're okay with it?
Okay with it?
And-
Go ahead, Paul.
But I was going to say, with the one thing that the Planning Commission has conditioned their recommendation on is actually comes from the fire department that it include the installation of an additional fire hydrant along the street. And the other condition was that no more than 6 lots have direct access to the proposed extended cul-de-sac.
That was the Planning Commission's recommendation.
And there'll
at
be
their-
something in the plan, obviously, that the lots can't be further subdivided, right? Whenever they come
We
before us.
could add that condition.
Because I remember when I can't remember when it was when I got on council right before Forest Lawn Gardens came in with something similar like this. but
It
I-
was like 1,400 feet,
right.
which,
A little longer than this.
right.
I mean, I don't have a problem with this largely because you're right, there is no other way to develop that property. And if they wanted to make half-acre lots, I probably wouldn't be as eager about it. But since
Estates,
It's
these lots
estate
are
lots.
2+ acres in size.
What happens with the
Crehan-
temporary
what's that?
cul-de-sac? What happens with the temporary cul-de-sac?
There's temporary easements that are established around that cul-de-sac. Those get extinguished with the extension of the plan. That all happens as part of the subdivision process.
or maybe you want to keep it there because you know maybe you want to have a place to park police cars or something. in an
Something that
emergency.
we can consider is keeping that cul-de-sac there. We would need cooperation
If you're
from
in the middle of it, you've got
Mickens.
traffic coming.
We will look at that.
All right, I'll make a motion that council grant a departure of approximately 300 feet from the regulations limiting the length of a cul-de-sac to 600 feet for 5 Farm Lane, subject to the conditions proposed by the Peters Township Planning Commission.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I don't know, there's a member of the audience that might have a vested interest.
Yeah, we're good. We'll wait for the next step.
That said, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 7-0. Item H is change order number 2 for the contract with A. Liberoni in the construction of Rolling Hills Park.
Mr. Zemeckis.
I put together a fairly detailed memo regarding what's all included in this change order, and I do realize that everybody in the room is allergic to change orders. They're sometimes difficult to talk about, but in a job this size, they're commonplace. So the good news is we're getting some credits in the order of $63,000, but the bad news is there's $168,000 worth of extra work. I did just want to remind council that, you know, our engineering services to design this job, we paid Mackin Engineering $200,000 less than HRG. Also, our low bidder, Liberoni, was $1.5 million low. So even though we've had a couple change orders on this job, we're still way ahead of the game.
Mark, I had one quick question. Sorry, if you didn't work, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was
Open discussion.
curious about the movement of the bench on Arrowhead Trail. So we could just move the bench rather than relocating the trail?
It's a memorial bench.
So it's got a footer then?
It has a footer, it has a memorial plaque, so we wanted to keep it there.
Okay.
We're not getting charged any, we're getting $318.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money, but I just
To redo the CAD
thought it
model,
was
redo the trail, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we did look into that, Gary, and we felt, you know what, it's just as easy to move the trail west a couple,
All right.
75 feet, so. But the biggest reason for the change, I won't go over every detail of the change order. If council has any specifics, I'd be more than glad to discuss them. The only thing I did want to go over is the main reason for the change is the electrical service into the park. The loop road was designed with 12, I'll call them power stations or vendor boxes. The plan was that we want to move Community Day eventually over to Rolling Hills Park when it's finished. It won't be this year, but maybe next summer, depending on the status of the aquatic center. we'd like to move Community Day over there. So there's 12 kind of power stations designed there that hook multiple vendors up and have it all along the loop road instead of scattered throughout Peterswood Park like we typically have. And several months ago, it became obvious from the bidding documents that the documents were ambiguous with respect to how we get secondary power to these vendor boxes. So we had another engineer, an electrical engineer, take a look at it. That had to be redesigned, and it resulted in a lot of extra work, a lot of extra conduit and wiring and transformers in order to properly power these vendor boxes. So that's really the main reason for the change, and that's what I wanted to explain.
I think the thing to keep in mind, and it gets back to what Mark was saying, this change order only represents a 1.5% increase in the contract price. And over the length of this contract, with the exception of the fact that we went in and did all that grading work for the aquatic center, which it never was intended to be part of this project, the change orders on this project are only at 3.2% right now. So
I'll make a motion that we approve the change order number 4 to the contract with A. Liberoni for the construction of Rolling Hills Park in the amount of $105,165.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion?
The question I have is, are we expecting to compensate the engineer for his omission?
Oh, we are having discussions. We're having discussions with Mackin Engineers, though, about seeing whether or not the additional costs we incurred for design, them picking that up. So I don't know.
You keep us advised?
What's that?
You will keep us advised?
Yes.
Yeah. We will. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 7-0. Payroll and bills. Frank?
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the payroll and bills. I find them to be in order. I move they be accepted as submitted.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Correspondence, I'm not seeing any. Minutes, anything anybody wants to discuss in the minutes? Okay, miscellaneous zoning hearing board report.
Well, actually, there is something we want to talk to you about under miscellaneous. As council's aware, we've let a contract for the paving of Maplewood and Laurel Drives. One of the things that Mr. Zomaitis is very good about is coordinating with the utilities companies. And despite the fact that the water company was notified last year that we would be doing this project, when we were sitting down with them to talk about this year's water company projects, they were surprised to find out that we were actually doing this project. And what they explained to us is that the water lines through this area are old and of mixed materials, and they want to go in and replace those water lines before we pave this road. And we pave over top of old water lines all the time, but in this particular case, that would not be a good thing to do, because you're taking roads that were shot and chipped and people have waited for years to see them turned into township roads, and it wouldn't surprise me as a result of our work that we would damage them. So the water company has found additional money to allow them to replace all of the water lines on Maplewood and Laurel Drive before we go in there. But what that's going to force us to do is delay Liberoni from doing the paving, which is going to no doubt result in additional costs for Liberoni. The water company is going to be making a contribution to the township for the asphalt paving in an amount that probably exceeds what our actual cost from them is going to be. So what we're going to attempt to do is to negotiate a fixed amount with Liberoni to compensate him for this delay, and then that would come back to council in the form of a change order. And in essence, the water company is going to pick up the tab for that delay. We just want to let you know that before we begin that negotiation.
How long of a delay are they thinking?
Liberoni was probably set to go in the next 30 days.
Yeah, we were hoping that Liberoni could start here in early April with some of the drainage work and the storm sewers. It's going to be at least 2 months, if not 3 months. It'll probably be a midsummer job now until Liberoni's able to get in there.
With the delay in that, is there any way we can get an engineering RFP out for Longview, get that at least moving?
Well, our intention this year is to do that, and I
No,
don't
I'm
know-
saying move that ahead.
Oh no,
You guys
you'll
are-
never move. You'll never be able to do this paving that quickly. In fact, on
Well,
the
no, I'm
case,
saying just get the engineering going since
Yeah.
you guys aren't
But-
going to be babysitting them for 3 months.
We've,
we may be doing this in house.
yeah, we've looked at Longview, and my first thoughts with that is the engineering shouldn't be nearly as extensive as it is for these roads, because there's already a drainage system on Longview, plus I think we're going to be all within the road right-of-way of Longview with any drainage improvements. So my gut feeling there is I think once we get into the fall and most of the construction season is behind us, maybe we can do that in-house, put some bidding documents together for Longview. So it's on our radar screen, but it's the construction is definitely going to be a 2023 thing. So we'll just kind of play it by ear with regards to getting it engineered, but I think we can do it in-house.
Yeah. And the other thing I think is going to take time on Longview is that turnaround at the end, and we have to get that turnaround in.
Is that ongoing then, discussions?
We have not started those discussions yet with them down there, but that's going to be something that's going to occur shortly.
That would definitely be something we want to try to front.
Yeah, I just want to see progress made on that one.
Yeah, no, you're right, you're right.
Anything else on this, or we'll
That's
talk
it.
about the zoning hearing board report?
No.
Is on here? Nothing? Okay. Anything for the next agenda? Nothing? And adjournment.